Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to the School of Science. My name is Luke and this is the Everton Stadium update for the 7th of September 2024. Now, going over the site today, it's going to be a little bit different from what we normally do. So, instead of, like going stand to stand to stand, where it's like a segmented video in a sense, we are trying something a little bit different. So, the main aspect of the video is going to be a simple pan around the actual stadium itself. And anything of detail that I've noticed whilst flying around, I've done a separate video that's actually zoomed in and you can see with a lot more clarity and we can actually talk about things a little bit better. So right now, case in point would be, say, right now the turnstiles as well as all the doors and everything around the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in like this in 3, 2, 1 and just like that. So we're zoomed in now and we can actually see the turnstiles a little bit better, so we can see that they are still working on them. You can still see the facade and everything, still got its plastic covering and everything. But they're making good progress getting them all in. Also you can see the seagulls are very active as well. So today the seagulls were really active. They were trying their best to get this drone down. But yeah, as we quickly pan around as well, we can actually see that the glass doors at the very front, they're getting installed now, so that is great to see. So it won't be too long before they're all done and dusted and you won't be able to distinguish them from the actual windows themselves. Also you can see the remains of the turnstiles as well. So what's happening right now with them is basically facade and whatnot. I believe there's a couple of them still need their actual turnstile being put in. And I'll be curious to see how the electronics and everything are for these as well. Whether they're going to stick to something similar to what they have at Goodson, or whether it's going to be something wholly different and unique. Whether it be, season tickets come with IDs, because I know some stadiums actually do that now, which is bloody terrifying. Especially if you're someone who has like a mate who gives you your season ticket for the day. If someone's there to check it and they say, hang on, you're not this person, that could be a massive issue down the line. I hope that's not the case, but you never know with these bloody football teams these days. Anything to squeeze a nickel or a dime out of you, as the Americans would say, or a penny and a pound out of them. But yeah, I digress. So going over the south stand, it's going to be very similar. So we're going to actually zoom in on the ticket office and move around. I'm going to show you around the facade and everything. But also, just very quickly before we actually go over there, I've noticed that the line for the solar panels actually is diverted off over the east stand. So there's got to be something that's going down there, which is kind of cool to see. I'm curious how that's actually going to work. But yeah, so we can see the ticket office as well. So again, that's another one. It's going to be interesting to see physical tickets with the new stadium, whether they're going to have some new design or anything, or they're going to stick to what they normally do. Also, we can see the facade in there as well, working on the glass as we quickly scope over now. So they also are doing the facade around the barrel cladding. So they're getting everything looking nice, tight and fitting together. It looks like it all belongs with each other. And it looks a lot more sturdy, to say the least. It's going to be nice not seeing all the bar work and everything, if you get where I'm coming from in that regard. But yeah, I'm going to try and refine this sort of video making process because I do like this, but if you guys aren't too pleased with this and you want me to go back to a different method or the previous method, just put it in the comments below. I do appreciate your feedback in that regard. Also, one thing I did miss in the initial fly around, and I'm kicking myself that I missed it, if you look there in the bottom southwest corner, we can see that there's trees in there now. So they've actually planted the trees now in the planters. That's really nice to see, a nice little bit of greenery. Obviously these are going to be evergreen trees, so whether it be summer, winter, spring, autumn, they're always going to have leaves on and they're going to look amazing all year round. But yeah, overall though, it is actually coming along really nice around the stadium and whatnot. As we pan over now to the west stand, one thing to note there, I will actually zoom into in a minute, is the benches and everything. So where we can see, you can actually see them from here, just looking at it. I can see it from a mile off. You can see the benches at the front, right by the stairs. I do not think that's going to be their permanent placement. Just the fact that just doesn't seem right. Where they're placed just doesn't seem right. I would expect them to be closer to the facade, the wall of the stadium, or positioned in a different way. Because how they're sitting right now, they're just right by the stairs, and it just doesn't seem right or even safe, to tell you the God's honest truth. I mean, one of them is right by the stairs. I just don't see that being the right place for them. So I'm assuming they've just been placed there for the time being as a temporary placeholder. and they're going to get changed around. But Everton, being Everton, I've got a feeling that might not even be the case. You know, we're like a bloody crazy team. But yeah, as we zoom in now, I do actually have a nice little focus here. So I do focus on the stadium as well as the immediate sort of courtyard area, so we can have a good look at the lights. But this is what I mean. When I zoom, we can see these now. So they are actually benches. The way they're placed there, they do look like benches. So they've got to get moved at some point. They can't sit there. But overall, though, the courtyard area here, right by the west stand, that's progressing really nicely. It's great to see all that moving along. And that video is way shorter than it should have been. I should have probably made that one longer, in case you know, for the next one. I'm going to try and make them about a minute each zoom point, unless it's something of a minute feature that I just wants to point out. But yeah, in regards to the west stand, it's looking really close to completion. I will actually go over to the water area as well, so we can have a little look at that. But most of the facading's done around there. It's like 99% done in regards to like the framework and everything of the stadium. It's pretty much there. Most of the stuff now over the course of the near future is purely going to be like aesthetic stuff. So as we can see here, the courtyard that's getting its bricks laid, the water getting infilled here. Now the way this actually fell, it looked wet, that ground. it looked wet, that dirt that they moved. So I'm assuming they're slowly seeping in the water, but I don't think entirely that's the case. From the looks of it, I'm assuming that's going to get the water's going to come through quite quickly. Hopefully in the next month or so. I want to see that done, because that would be one of the bigger indicators to say we're near enough done. The keys are going to be going over to Everton's hands, even though we know the date of when we're going over there. Well, the keys passing hands being December. We want to see pretty much all this done and dusted. And I was looking back on a render that was on Twitter. It wasn't one of the Everton ones on YouTube or anything. It was done by a third party or a fan. And my God, this is really close to what they've actually put out there. I'm going to put a link to that down in the description below for you to have a look, definitely. But it is so close to what we can see here. It's just amazing to see how to the render this is. I know they've taken a bit of liberty and changed a few things here and there, but my God, that was so close to it. But yeah, one of the reasons there isn't really a zoom part here is more down to the fact that they were actually working on site today. I didn't really want to get the drone down below the 50-meter mark because of it being a built-up area and people operating on the site. Due to safety rules as well as civil aviation rules, we can't get down close there, so I did have to avoid that today. But next time we do one of these videos, I'm going to try and make sure I can get down and close to the north stands, because I want to get a nice close-up and pan across here, because I can do it safely across the wall, and we can see it very close to underneath where all the turnstiles and everything are, because I want to see them to a very good extent. But yeah, looking at the inner bowl and everything, one thing that was actually mentioned to me as well is apparently the undersoil heating, this stuff, the blue piping. Apparently, I think myself it was going to be like a water system, so it's just going to be like warm water or hot water pumped through, which I thought would be on like a loop system, a simple system. It's very similar to how a PC's water cooler loop works. If you've got a PC that's strong and powerful enough to have a water cooler, it operates very similar to that. It's almost again like a radiator as well. A radiator is a very good example of it for people who aren't familiar with the PC terms and everything. So how that really operates is, what happens is you pump the hot water through, it goes back into its system, almost like a giant boiler, and then pumps back around and through. But apparently this isn't the case. Apparently it's meant to be an air system. But these guys are the professionals, they know what they're doing. I'm just, as I said, I'm just a guy with a drone who knows how to talk, and apparently to some people, waffle on. But yeah, seeing the progression right now is great. So we've got most of the undersoil heating done, and we've got the base now. So what's going to happen now is that's going to get put into place, and from there the soil is going to get put over the top, and then it's going to get planted. So we're going to get our grass turf put in. So you're going to have the sand base, which is the low root point. we're going to have the soil base, which would be the upper root point, and then it's going to get seeded as well as the fibers put into the actual pitch itself. So they've got a nice blend between artificial and natural grass to sort of hold the soil together. But yeah, overall, inside the stadium, it looks absolutely spot on. Loving it. Loving seeing all the disabled areas as well. I've mentioned this in the previous video and I'm going to mention it again. My granddad's mobilities went to absolute pot, so unfortunately he's not going to be able to move around as freely as he likes to anymore. And when it comes to the match now, we've got to wheel him into the stadium, so I'm really grateful that we are where we are in the paddock, and we can actually, you know, get him around and get him in. So seeing areas like this is great because we can get him somewhere close to this, and he can sit in comfort in a seat, and he can enjoy the match without worrying about other things. But that's the video, guys. I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe and all that. Take care and have a great week.